So yesterday in the clip that I put out, we talked about what's been going on between Liz Warren and Bernie Sanders. According to 4 anonymous people over at CNN, or who said something to CNN, there was a conversation between Liz Warren and Bernie Sanders, a private conversation, where Bernie said he didn't think a woman could win. Liz Warren disagreed with him. This hit the press. CNN published this. Let's do a quick recap. So first what happened, CNN just published that with no scrutiny whatsoever. They just published it, ran with that headline. Bernie said this. And then if you read past the headline, you find out this is according to 4 anonymous sources. 4 random people claim that Bernie said this in a conversation, a private conversation with Liz Warren back in 2018. Bernie immediately responded and said, that's not true. I didn't say that. Here's what actually happened. And he said that he was talking about how Donald Trump will weaponize everything he can, that Donald Trump is sexist and racist. That's how Bernie recalled the conversation. Liz Warren, for hours, said absolutely nothing. Why did she say nothing? She said nothing so that she could allow that information to spread. She wanted it to spread across the media. So she's like, let's just be quiet and not say anything for a little while and let this spread. And they got what they wanted. The Warren campaign got what they wanted because a bunch of other media outlets ran with this and said this is based off of CNN. So first, I mean, this is a really big game of no journalistic integrity telephone. CNN publishes something from 4 anonymous sources saying, hey, 4 anonymous sources told us this. Guess it's true. Which, by the way, CNN has a reputation for doing that when it fits a narrative they want to promote. They had to fire 3 reporters over Russiagate because CNN published something that was just based on stuff anonymous people told them and ended up being bogus. They had to fire people over it. So whenever something fits CNN's agenda, they throw all in journalistic integrity to the wind. All of it. They don't even bother keeping a little of it. And that's what they're doing again here. So CNN just runs with that. Oh, a couple anonymous people said something. Good enough for us. And then other media outlets reported this, and they're like, well, this is according to other media outlets. So they're reporting on, CNN's reporting on some stuff a couple anonymous people said. This is news in the United States. This is considered news in the United States of America. You can't make this up. We have reached a point where, I mean, truth is stranger than fiction. Like if I just took somebody aside, a general person aside, and described to them what I just described and said, this is what happened the other day, most people wouldn't believe me. They'd be like, come on, that's ridiculous. A couple anonymous people said something to a news source, and then that news source published it. So then other news sources were saying, hey, we're publishing this according to this other news source. That's ridiculous. Hey, 4 anonymous people said the sky is falling. CNN publishes the sky is falling. Then Business Insider publishes, hey, the sky is falling according to CNN. Who got this from 4 anonymous people? The media doesn't work that way, Ron. Yes, it does. We just saw it work that way. That's literally what happened. And why did it spread that much? Because Liz Warren was completely silent. So then Liz Warren speaks, and she says she vaguely addresses it and then tries to play the diplomatic card. I don't want to talk about this. It was a private conversation. And here's what happened. So the Washington Post, Jeff Bezos' newspaper, even Washington Post discredits her a little bit here. All right, so check this out. This is from Washington Post, by the way. I've said that like 4 times. All right, Sanders-Warren feud takes a turn onto the dangerous turf of gender. Okay, so here we go. So this is them recalling what happened. Sanders heatedly denied the report. That's the report that he said a woman can't win. His campaign manager told CNN that this was a straight-up lie. And here's Sanders' statement. It is ludicrous to believe that at the same meeting where Elizabeth Warren told me she was going to run for president, I would tell her that a woman couldn't win. 2 people with knowledge of the conversation at the 2018 dinner at Warren's home told the Washington Post Warren brought up the issue by asking Sanders whether he believed a woman could win. One of the people with knowledge of the conversations said Sanders did not say a woman couldn't win, but rather that Trump would use nefarious tactics against the Democratic nominee. Okay, well, here's what Bernie Sanders said that he said. What I did say that night was that Donald Trump is a sexist, a racist, and a liar who would weaponize whatever he could. Do I believe a woman can win in 2020? Of course. After all, Hillary Clinton beat Donald Trump by 3 million votes, says Bernie Sanders. Keep in mind, there's footage of Bernie Sanders in 1988 saying that a woman could be president. There's also Bernie Sanders. Keep in mind, in 2016, Bernie Sanders encouraged Liz Warren to run. He wanted her to run in 2016, and then he ran because she didn't want to, because she didn't want to upset the Clinton camp. That's why Bernie Sanders ran in the first place. So why would he want Liz Warren to run in 2016 if he thought she'd lose? Why would he do that? That doesn't make any sense. He knew that Hillary Clinton would lose. He knew that the party needed a revolutionary, that it was time. So, again, even Washington Post, they're saying, well, someone that was there, they said this, and this matches what Bernie said. And again, we're still playing just a big game of telephone. In Warren's statement, I mean, all right, so let's go again. Here's how Warren addressed it. Hold on. Where's the Warren addressing it? Here's what she said about it. I thought a woman could win. He disagreed. That's the statement she put out on it. And then she tried to play the diplomacy card. I have no interest in discussing this private meeting any further because Bernie and I have far more in common than our differences on punditry. And I know there's some people out there, because I've gotten feedback from them from my video yesterday, still giving Liz Warren the benefit of the doubt, saying that no, she didn't respond to it because she didn't want to give any credence. She didn't want to give any validity to this bogus claim. She was taking the high road. You really believe that? You really believe that? Come on. If she was taking the high road, she would have addressed it immediately. Even if she would have given that statement immediately, she didn't. She waited. That was on purpose. She wanted it to spread. She wanted the soundbite to take root so that a lot of people wouldn't recall that it was refuted later. You really think she's not playing the political game? The person who has copied Bernie's policies, and by the way, constantly accepts credit for them being her own. She has a plan for that. You think she doesn't know these are Bernie's policies and she just took them? No, she knows. And she knows that he's too polite to say anything. He should be having an I wrote the damn bill moment every single time he speaks. No, this was calculated by the Warren campaign. And it is extremely dishonest. And even Washington Post is refuting you. Washington Post is saying, well, someone else who has knowledge of this, they're saying that's ridiculous. It matches what Bernie Sanders says. The Warren campaign got exactly what they wanted out of this. And what a vague, well, I said a woman can win. He disagreed. Like that doesn't, that could be taken a number of ways. I mean, she might have said, well, I thought Hillary Clinton was going to win. And he might have said, I didn't think she was. You know what I mean? Like it's such a vague explanation that Liz Warren gave. Whereas Bernie Sanders concretely says, this is what I actually said. Liz Warren has some vague recollection. Well, I recall saying that he disagreed. I said this, he disagreed. Bernie Sanders says, no, I never said that. Here's what I did say. I said this about Donald Trump. That was the purpose of the conversation. Somebody who has heard of the conversation matches Bernie Sanders' explanation. And we're still just analyzing what happened in a private conversation. And why are we doing that? Because CNN published something that 4 anonymous sources told them about. And why did they do that? Because it hurts Bernie. So there you go. And that's, I think Liz Warren, if there's any doubt that anyone's had for Liz Warren, I think that can be put to rest now. Liz Warren is in this race to try to take votes away from Bernie Sanders so that the establishment gets what they want, which is not Bernie Sanders. anyone but Bernie, basically. Anyone but Bernie or Tulsi. Or Yang, even. They don't want Yang. They don't want an outsider. They want an insider. They want Biden. They want Warren. They want Buttigieg. That's what they want. Or Klobuchar. They'd be fine with her, too. But so that's the side of the fence Liz Warren is on. She is not a progressive. Not at all. And Bernie's got to rethink who his friends are. He really does. Bernie, Liz Warren is not your friend. This was calculated, and this was intentional. Joe Biden is not your friend. Nina Turner's your friend. Tulsi Gabbard's your friend. Ro Khanna's your friend. Liz Warren is not your friend. And she just took her gloves off and got in the mud. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and